The goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rapping.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot, up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar.
Tonight, we start taking our steps towards Earth Day and raising awareness on things like sustainability with musician and founder of the organization Musicians on Stage Philly, Ben Kogan.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, joined by guest co-host...
Ben Kogan. Hello, everybody.
And you are listening to your next favorite band. Ben is our guest tonight, but we have so much cool stuff going on tonight. He's actually going to be kind of guest co-host for the first 8 minutes or so. And then we'll pivot and make him the guest. Is that okay with you, Ben?
Sure. I didn't 100% know that, but I'm totally just around for the ride here.
It's just purely because off the top, what we often do is kind of either promote something or talk about something. And what we wanted to promote was our upcoming live event, the No Planet B Jamboree, which is a very good kind of pivot point for you as our guest.
Totally.
So I just thought I wanted to get your take on some of these things, and you can kind of commentary along the way. But Ben is somebody I met at the Sustainability Summit back in the fall that Martin Guitar put on. Martin Guitar we're so lucky to have here in the Lehigh Valley. It's just up the road for me here. And they put on a Sustainability Summit, and because we've been doing this sustainability event, No Planet B Jamboree, somehow, some way, I got added to the press invite of the event, and I was like,
I was a little surprised when they asked me. And I'm like, how'd you find me? And he's like, I just Googled sustainability music, and then I was in the top 3. And so it's
nice.
either that's good for me, or maybe just no one else is doing it. It's under the radar. So anyway.
Right. So got the opportunity to be there, and there were multiple panels, and there were Q&A sessions and networking opportunities, and was able to hear you speak. We'll get into this more in a little bit, but we met during one of the breaks, and I was just like, hey, would you come on the show to talk about your organization, and then would you maybe even help our event become better for the Earth? And obviously, if we're doing something called the No Planet B Jamboree, and it's trying to raise awareness on things like renewables and conservation and sustainability, we would want to be as, favorable towards the planet as we could be. So let's first talk about the lineup. It is a music event that also raises awareness. So let's talk about the music. Nervous Nikki and the Chill Pills, the Hot Mamas, and Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentlemen. Phenomenal lineup. All have played Music Fest a ton. All have played... Well, I shouldn't say that. Nervous Nikki and the Chill Pills haven't played Music Fest, but they have played the Lehigh Valley. They've been on the show. They should be at Music Fest because they fit it quite well. All 3 have been on the show before. That's pretty standard for us. Also, great artwork. Ben, you were complimenting the artwork.
I think it looks awesome. I love the way this thing looks. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was done by... This is so cool, too. There's a 5K fun run happening before the music starts by this sustainability running group called the Running Kind. And the woman who kind of runs point on that running group, her sister is a visual artist, and she was the designer of that. So like the Running Kind sustainability running group doing the 5K, the sister doing the poster artwork, us doing the event, all great stuff happening.
I wish I could be there. And we talked about this before. It's like I only have 2 certifications this year so far, and they both happen to be on April 25th.
That
and
is
I was
so
already booked.
funny.
I was already booked for. I'm doing one at the University of Vermont. They have a festival that I'm going.
And
to
you're
next
based
week.
in Vermont, so obviously that's
in
way
Vermont.
closer for you.
Yeah, I guess it's more sustainable too.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically, you see the lineup from the music perspective. We're going to have 10 to 12 tabling organizations as well. Let me bring up the site here. The No Planet B Jamboree. If you come to nextfaveband.com, you will see more information. So here's the date, the time. It's always important to point out it's free. There's no charge, there's no ticket. You can just show up. Here's the bands. Here's the links to the interviews. This is some details about the event. Here's the fun run, so you can sign up for that. It's all levels of running, so you can walk it, you can run it, you can jog it, whatever you want to do. Starts at 1 so that it will finish basically the course they've laid out ends right where the stage is. So that part ends right where the music starts. We'll get to this in a second. This is very much what Ben helped us out with, is additional ways to make sure that we can be as kind of carbon free as we can. But anyway, we have a sponsor, the Energy Co-op. They are a fully renewable energy generating company that you can opt to have them be your supplier. That's who I get my energy from. And then these are all the tabling organizations. And so the nice part here is that the fact that you'll be able to meet all these different organizations. It's a combination of for-profits, non-profits, and governmental entities that are basically trying to figure out ways to just be, moving in the right direction. And then this is my favorite part. This is where Musicians for Sustainability, which we'll get into with Ben in a second, we've become a certified festival. If you see that logo, there's 4 circles. We have the first one filled out. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second because we've got breaking news.
Breaking news. You guys are now a 2-leaf festival.
Right. So this is where, like in like shows like Deal or No Deal, when they're like suddenly going to reveal something and it makes a noise like do. I wish I could do that right now while we go bam, and we got a second leaf. There we go. 2 leaves. We just went from 1 to 2 leaves. It just has to do with, and again, we're going to get into this in a second, the different ways that you kind of say, hey, here's different things that are super important that would make a big difference. And if you can achieve certain elements of it, then you start to just get certain kind of check marks. And if you achieve a certain amount, you get 1 leaf, another one, you get 2 leaves, and so on down the line. And even the ones that we didn't get, we tried. And it's just like, it's hard. It's something that takes effort. It takes relationships. It takes opportunity. It takes research. So we're not giving up. We're going to hopefully get to 3 and 4 leaves in future years. But like, this is the kind of stuff where the first step is awareness. I think that's probably the most important thing that I've learned in my own personal journey. But then as I start to talk to other people, is most people want to do something better. They just don't know how to. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, for this festival, meeting you allowed me to learn, like, these are the things that make a difference. Mm. And I think for other people, they'll learn from this or they'll learn from other sources or whatever. But like, that's like the first biggest thing, is just learning how to make the better choice.
Yeah. It's like, what are you supposed to do? It's like,
right.
And that's kind of the point of this, is like, try to like, here's a checklist of things to do. I'm there to help facilitate some of those things and make it as easy as possible to happen.
And so for me, for like this Musicians for Sustainability, it's how to make a music festival more sustainable, maybe even a venue. It doesn't have to be just a festival, but it's more music industry centric. There's other things, like you do have Reusable Solutions. There's plenty of other like some of the tabling organizations that'll be there or so on. There's all these other places, resources out there that can help you make a better decision. It's just a matter of finding them and then taking that path.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's going to be some of the aspect of tonight. So we'll talk about that. But we're also going to spend time talking about the Ben Kogan journey. Like we're going to talk about, you're a musician, you're a jazz trained stand-up bassist.
I went to college for jazz bass from 2002 to 2006. Yep, 41. That's right. I'll say it. That's okay.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about the other organizations that you've formed and just the difference that they're making, and maybe even some of the areas of frustration and the impact of external factors and so on. But that's kind of our show for tonight. But hope people join us for the No Planet B Jamboree. It's Saturday, April the 25th. Starts at 2. If you want to do the run, it starts at 1. And it's just going to be a great day.
So it's a week from Saturday, right?
It's right.
1 week from Saturday, April 25th. 1 week from Saturday, April 25th. It's in Bethlehem?
It's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So it's very reachable by lots of great spaces. And I think the other part, too, is we're so relieved to have it at Arts Quest. One, they're a great partner. They've been wonderful about exploring all of these things that we're about to talk about. But also, they have an outdoor stage, which we love, because obviously if you're doing an Earth Day festival, you want it to be outside. But they have an indoor stage basically within 100 feet of where that is.
Love a good backup play.
You need a backup because, if it's outdoors, weather can play a part. And so the good news for all of you tuning in, and if you want to be there, you can put it in, I always say, you can put it in marker. You don't have to put it in pencil. Daytime and location is completely protected because if weather is an impact, we'll just move it inside. It's a huge space. So all of the tabling organizations will have room. The stage is there. The sound engineers are there. They'll just move over there. And we will be able to operate as if nothing impacted anything because we can just move it inside. And that is a beautiful thing. So it took a huge weight off my head because I would do rain dances and all sorts of prayers leading up to the thing because the first couple of years we were in the Sun Inn Courtyard, which is gorgeous, but I had no backup plan. So the fact that we moved it to Arts Quest and now have that as like just simply a where I'm at peace with the day, time, and location is just tremendous. So thrilled with that.
Right on. So
that is the opening. So now you get to be your full-on guest at this point. Right. So I was going to ask you, so we always transition to the guest phase with a video.
Okay.
Would you like to transition to the guest phase with your original music and we talk about your music? Or do we want to transition
I'll play one. I feel like playing.
Oh, you're going to play?
Yeah. I thought, should I do that or should we do something?
I have the video of I Hate Writing Songs.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of fun. Yeah, you want to do that one?
Let's do that. We'll have you play a little bit later.
Okay.
So we have this here. So take a listen to, so this has a little bit of banter in the front that I kept because I think it really starts to show, and people are already seeing it, but like Ben is also a very funny person. So we're also going to, I don't know about that. We're going to get a little bit of the personality of Ben Kogan here as well as the musicianship. So take a listen to his song, I Hate Writing Songs.
That's right.
All right, this next one is a story similar to the Mystery Train song. It's called, it's a funny title. I'm like stalling because I don't want to say it.
Well, it's loaded.
But I have to. I'm here, right? We're at the concert together. It's called I Hate Writing Songs.
The banter, which I'm just kind of stalling.
I mean, sometimes it's true, right? I like this part of it. This is super fun.
I kind of wrote it.
For you guys,
I wrote it a little bit.
And the writing, sometimes I have these ideas, just like the work of doing it, and then sometimes you do it, and like there's no one there.
Man, I hate writing
money doing it. It's like, wow.
And then this whole other song's kind of
flowed out. You start, but to finish, sometimes it's like, why? So this song is a bit of a joke, and I was like frustrated trying to sing something, and I was like, man, I hate writing songs. Are there any kids in the audience? There is a swear word that I'm going to retract.
I don't really care that much.
You don't really care that much. I'm dropping. There's an F-bomb in here. I'm just letting you guys know. If this needs to be your bathroom song, understand.
I think as long as I'm not saying it, it's fine.
Why you? Because that's your kid.
That's my kid. Even though I can't see you, I can hear you.
One, two. I hate rap songs. It's a funny thing for music man to say. It just takes so fucking long, and no one listens anyway. I'd rather mow the lawn, do my taxes, and talk to my dad about Israel. They don't lean on 12 keys. I'll go and catch a guy to catch a talking by the tail. What the hell am I doing here? With my fingers on the strings, they're coming out of my lungs. Working on a song to sing. Sometimes I'm the star, but I'm mostly just the stage.
So you are listening to the bluesy music of Ben Kogan with some wonderful banter, and a child reached out saying they didn't care that you were going to drop an F-bomb, and it was the bassist's kid, so like it was a really fun family moment right there.
Yeah.
But great tune here. It's I mean, when I listen to the music that you play and write, it's like it's very diverse and eclectic. It's pretty much it spans pretty much a bunch of genres.
Well, the beginning of your entrance here says genre defying, so
correct.
I fit into that genre well.
Yes. We embrace that wholeheartedly. The genre defiant is definitely. We don't necessarily want to be known for any one kind, so this is good stuff. But love the stand-up bass and the acoustics. Like, this is something that's very fun.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we switch up the instruments a lot. I say I have musical ADD. Like, I also have regular ADD, but like I don't know. I've been playing. I started on saxophone, and then I moved to and then bass. Saxophone was like 4th grade to 6th grade, and then I wanted to play an instrument that like people actually knew or needed, besides like concert band or jazz band. And so
right, or Bruce Springsteen covers.
There was no saxophone in Korn. Korn.
But there was a stand-up bass.
But there was electric bass, and and I was like, someone else already played guitar, so I was like, oh, I'll pick up the bass. And so it was like bass was like my main thing through college, but then I picked up guitar and piano like along the way.
Yeah.
Singing came last. You can probably tell. But.
So tell us about the backstory of the song. Like, it's kind of funny that a songwriter would write a song that's called "I Hate Writing Songs."
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm still getting this like on this thing. I'm still seeing like the spinny wheel. I don't know if that's happening on your end.
I'm guessing it might be just on your side, and it might be prioritizing our stream over this. But
okay.
It is playing.
I'm going to pretend that I don't see that. But yeah, the backstory behind that song is just, I don't know, I've been writing a bunch of songs recently, or like I wrote that song like 2 years ago, and I was trying to think of like, I was trying to write like another song, and like the words weren't totally coming out like super quickly, and then I was like, I hate writing songs, and then I was like, that's funny. That's kind of funny. Maybe I should put that. I'm like, I hate writing songs. These are all the other things I'd rather do than write a song. Like, and so I was like, maybe I'd rather mow the lawn, or rather I'd talk to my dad.
Do your taxes.
Rather, do my taxes, or talk to my dad about Israel. Just like all these like kind of tricky things to talk about. And Donna Lee and all the 12 keys. And then sometimes like a lot of people record first and then uh, and then and then they play the songs after. I like to like test it out as much as possible and see like what's sticking. And so like I somebody laughed like when I was first writing it. I'm like Donna Lee and all the 12 keys. I went to school for music, and that was actually like one of the assignments. It wasn't 12 keys; it was 3 keys. But playing that on bass, I mean, I have my electric here, so it's not the same. But like you probably can't hear this too well, but. And then, but I mean, that's on electric, which is easier than upright. But they're like, okay, the first assignment was like play that melody, all of it. That was only like the first part. I played that in 3 keys. It's like, oh shit. So it was really hard, but I did it, for school. And then, they're like, yeah, keep, if you want, you keep going, do it in all 12 keys. And people are always like from music school, they're like, yeah, do it in all 12 keys, which I think is like, in theory is good. You can totally like lose your mind, like try to like play it in all these different keys. But anyways, a friend of mine, I sang that and he laughed, and I was like, okay, that's gonna stay. That line's gonna stay. And then sometimes like you do gigs and like, I don't know, I don't want to misrepresent I mean, I'd love to be like, yeah, I've been a success from the beginning. People always show up. Like there's like, there's always a crowd. It's like people are listening. Everyone's hanging on every single word I'm saying. That would be not true.
True.
But like music industry's hard, right? And sometimes like no one's listening. You're like, what? Why the? I don't want to swear here, but why the f am I?
You can if you want.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well,
let it fly. Let it be natural.
I gotta ask the kids. If there's any kids watching.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
I'm pretty sure no kids are watching.
Why am I doing this? Like, what am I doing this for? Like, and Spotify hardly pays anything. And that I said that once, and I was like at a gig, and I was like, I'm only making 0.5 cent a stream on Spotify. And someone laughed pretty hard at that. And I was like, all right, that's a keeper.
That's going to stay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was a pretty fun song to write. It's just like, it's also, I've done a lot of jam sessions and like playing with people that have never played with me before. It's like, how can I write a song that is like 3 chords?
Sure.
That it's like easy to pick up, that I can just play with anyone, like anywhere,
Yeah,
so that's kind of like
learn it rather quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun to like see if like you can challenge yourself, because I went to school for jazz. It was like chords, but it's like, but I kind of got into like country music and bluegrass later, and it's like, can I make it easy enough to learn on the fly, which makes it a lot easier to play with people. So.
Which is jazz. Like that's an element to jazz music, is the ability to just simply play on the fly with people you've never played with before.
Totally. But with jazz, a lot of it's like there's a canon of music that like people are accustomed to playing. So like, even if you haven't played with them before, there's this like repertoire that is like, it's pretty fascinating that like you can go like, even all over the world, where there's like, Donna Lee or All the Things You Are or All of Me, and people know it like all over the world. And it's like, it's this other language, that like, I don't know how everyone knows this, but it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Oh, totally. If you don't mind, take us a little bit farther back in the Ben Kogan, biography.
Sure.
Where did music come into your life? Like what made you realize you were going to be a musician?
There's a couple things. There's 2 particular moments. And so, one is like 4th grade, there was this like music demonstration that happened, and they had all the instruments. There was like trumpet, like, and then there was like what are the other? There was flute, and it was like all kind of like lame and like not super interesting. And even the drums, it's like just a snare drums, like, and then saxophone was like, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-ba-doo, and doing like all these like kind of like blues, like. I mean, on saxophone, and I was like, that is cool. Like, I want to learn that. And so I learned saxophone first, and then I think I was saying before, like there was no saxophone in Korn. So
maybe there should have been, but
maybe, yeah. And then like, I was gonna do this talent show with my friend, and this was the kind of pretty big band at the time. Let's just see. This will be like a little trivia question for whoever's who's ever there. But what song that is?
So I'm going to be wrong, but that sounds like Peaches by
Yes,
the
yes,
Presidents.
yeah. That's right. It's Peaches
By Presidents of the United States.
From Pot USA. Yeah.
Yes.
And so,
Thank goodness I got that right. That was
I put it on the
a
spot
total
there as a host.
cred test right there.
Yeah, you passed. Good job.
Woo!
And I played that song. I was playing with my friend, and
Although you have way too many strings, didn't he do that?
Yeah,
Three string?
it was like a three. It was on bass. It was like a three-string bass. Yeah, and so I was gonna play bass, and he was gonna play guitar. We had the same teacher, which was pretty cool.
Right.
And so he taught my friend the guitar part, and I was gonna play the bass part. The melody is actually on the bass, and
I love when they mess that stuff up.
And my friend bailed on me probably like a week before the talent. We're gonna do the talent show at the end of the year, and he bailed on me on the talent show, and I was like,
where did he go? Like, how did he bail on? What did he just get wet, cold feet or whatever?
Yeah. He was like, he just got nervous. He was like, oh, I'm too scared. I don't want to do it. And so I was like, come on, but he didn't want to do it. So I did it. I'm like, well, I practice this. I'm gonna do it by myself. And I was like in a totally like the wrong key. Like it's a different key. And I was in 7th grade, and I got up on stage in the auditorium, like 700-person auditorium, and I played. I played along with the track, and I was like totally not in the same key. I was like, whatever, like no one will notice.
Right.
And so, and then after I finished, everyone's like, "Woo, like, go Ben!" And I was like, I was hooked, man. Right. I've been chasing that high like ever like for the last 30 years.
That's so fun. Who knew Presidents of the United States of America would bring it to you?
Yeah. That's kind of what got me hooked. And so since then, I mostly.
So what you're saying there is like the music in the first example and the performance aspect in the second example is really what kind of came together for you. Was I want to learn how to play this stuff and get that kind of instant gratification off of an audience.
Yeah. That's a good way to sum it up.
That's very, very cool. And then from there, how did you find the path to like jazz music in college? Like that's 7th grade. What happens between then and heading off to college that you're going? That's a very intimidating path.
I wanted to. I played with this band. I've actually kind of reconnected with them recently. It was called Route 9, and it was like my high school band, and we played some gigs together. We wrote some music. We actually I got the recordings of it. Someone I was like, hey, does anyone have the recordings of that we did from back, I don't know, 98. I guess it's probably like high school, like 98, 99. And like 5 seconds later, someone just sent a Dropbox. I was like, you know what? That was too easy. I wanted to struggle a little bit.
I wanted to struggle.
I wanted to go through someone's basement and like try to find a tape player.
Yeah.
And like
cassette tapes. And
stuff, see if I could find a cassette, and then someone that actually has a player and the speakers to hook it up to, or like a car from 99.
And it sounds like it's underwater.
Yeah. I wanted to find that, but anyways, we listened to it. I'm like, oh, actually, it wasn't too bad. It was better than I expected. And so I played with this group of guys back then, and then something would happen there is like I wanted like jams that went somewhere, or like I felt like there was more, and I didn't know how to like express it or like direct it or something. And so like I'm like, oh well, jazz like has more complicated chords. It was a lot of like I think we just played like Chameleon.
Sure.
And I like this literally this like minor 1 chord to dominant 7 chord 4 chord, and I'm like, well, where can it go from there? And I like didn't have an answer, and so I was like, well, I'll go to school for jazz.
That's amazing. I could see like the essay for the college, like, why would you like to go here? Like, well, we need to know where this dominant 7 goes.
I gotta know.
I love music because it takes somebody like on that, like you're just hung on this thing and you're just like, I'm going to go in giant pursuit of where this goes. I think that's fantastic.
And then I kind of came back after college. Like now,
where does it go? People are dying to know. Where does it go after that?
Well, it's just like it could go to it goes to the one it goes to the one chord. That's what it is. It's the one chord. That's where it goes. That's what I found out after
That's very spiritual, right there.
$150,000 later. It was like that's where it goes.
It sounds good to me.
It's an expensive one chord.
Well, listen, it was worth it. Now you have you have resolve. Like you've come back home.
Yeah, we've resolved. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I cut you off. I just had to know.
Oh no, that's I think that's more or less the end. Oh, I guess. Oh, right, jazz. Like, I have like mixed feelings about it. It's kind of like the relevance of jazz, right? It's like people perfecting to sound like something that's already been done, 1,000 times over. It's like how many people are going to sound like Charlie Parker? Like, are you trying to like? I think it's impressive to sound like something like Charlie Parker, but I love Charlie Parker. I'm not dissing him at all, but it's like if nobody's really listening to it, the kind of music, or not that big of an audience, and you're just doing it for other musicians or saxophone players, it's like it just something about that rubs me the wrong way, or maybe it's just like the circular thinking, like you're doing it for other students, like playing for other jazz students to like impress them. There's something about like where you're not connecting to a general audience that bothers me. So anyways, like I go back and forth whether I like jazz or not, like playing it. I just like I do think that part of it is like the musicianship needs to be at like the highest level for me to be like, to be engaged. Otherwise it's just like, how many times are we going to play like C Jam blues or mediocre version of There Is No Greater Love or something. So
no, I can certainly understand that is the access, the scalability, the introduction of someone else who's never heard it before. Like those are important factors as a musician. You're not just performing for yourself mostly.
Yeah.
So I can certainly understand that layer of interest in, I want to create and perform music that is going to connect with other people. And if it's not connecting, then I can see where the artist would be like, well, that's it's not the point.
What the hell am I doing here?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. If you're just painting pictures to put it in your own basement, it's not exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Or for other painters like that. That's also. I get it. I think you're absolutely right. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And then I guess a pivot point here is, so where does and this might need to go back too, where does the passion for the environment kick in, and how does that start to come together with forming nonprofits that try to make a difference, including ones that try to make a difference in the music industry?
Yeah. I kind of like to say the origin story here is like a discussion I had with my wife, which is like, I was like, I remember this particular bottle of the spray bottle of some clean, like a Febreze or something like that, where it had like a leaf on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, capitalism will save the planet because, the more people demand something and they want something, businesses will see that and they'll respond to that in kind, and that will make things better, right? Like if people want to like do something for the environment, which seems like there was a shift. It kind of started for me in like 2016 or so, or 2015. And it's like, people want that, so businesses are going to start to like cater to those consumer demand. And she's like, I don't know about that. And then she recommended this book to me by Naomi Klein called it's called This Changes Everything: Capitalism versus the Environment, or Capitalism versus the Planet. And I read this, I was like, oh, I see. Like there's a lot of stuff that are like, it's like destined to fail. There's too many corporate interests that don't care about the environment, where like it is a nice thought that like consumer demand that may help shift it, but there's a lot of like other work that needs to be done too. And so I was like, well, what am I like, kind of like what you were saying earlier, like if you want to do something, how do you do it? You don't know where to start, like that kind of overwhelming feeling of like all of that. And so what kind of came out of that book was like this talking about 350.org and and also Sierra Club, and those are like kind of like two organizations that she kind of highlighted as like these are organizations that are doing something for the environment. And so I took that, and I was like, okay, this is interesting, and I kind of try to get involved. I lived in so my short story is like grew up in Framingham, Massachusetts. I went to school at University of Miami from 2002 to 2006. I lived in Boston for 2 years, from 2006 to 2008. 2008 to 2020, I lived in New York City, mostly Brooklyn, and then moved to Vermont in 2021. And I've been here since then. That's the short version, fast version. And when I was in New York, I was like, oh, I'll get involved with like Sierra Club and 350.org. And I went to something, they had like monthly meetings, they were organized. And I was like, okay, I want to get involved. And they were pushing for like particular bills in Congress. Like one was a EV. There's like I don't want to get too into the weeds, but there's a cap on EVs being eligible for the tax credit. And the idea was to push for more EVs to be eligible for the tax credit. That was like a tangible action item. But they had these meetings where they talked about different things and advocated, and like the Green New Deal was like, that was like kind of the big thing. I sit in the back of a cab, like watching AOC talk about the Green New Deal. And I was like, oh, like finally, like someone's gonna like address it. Like we're so backwards now, or far backward. I guess what I'm trying to say, the standard is like so low. It's like, let's acknowledge it. Let's acknowledge there's a problem. Let's say like, okay, we need like there's something's wrong with the environment. We need to fix it. Let's start there. Publicly say that, and like just get everyone on board to say we have a problem. Let's try to deal with it.
And that alone is a giant uphill, impossible battle.
Not impossible, but uphill for sure. And so anyways, I saw that in the back of a cab. I'm like, oh, I want to get involved with this. How do I push for this? And so Sierra Club and 350 were working on it. And so that's kind of how I got involved with that. And then how like turning that into like my own like personal touring. I was like advocating for like lots of bigger like big picture stuff, and I was with a lot of musicians like talking about this experience of like lobbying, like going to having meetings with like your senators and representatives and talking to them about that. And I'm like, it would be great to do something in the music industry. Like, a lot of musicians, like they talk about advocating for like federal stuff, and some of it's lip service, some of it they might mean it, but it's like that's not really where they have the most influence. Like the most influence that musicians have are in their own industry, right? Like you can like especially bigger artists, right? They can, have you ever heard that like the story about Van Halen asking for no brown M&Ms? Have you ever heard that story?
Right, yes. Yep.
Like they put it in their rider to like see if like people are paying attention. And it's like I've seen it. I've played like with probably the bigger band I toured with is this band called the David Wax Museum, and some of the gigs like they'd have this rider and like all the stuff would be fulfilled. You'd have like manchego cheese, like ripe avocados, kombucha, and they would all be there. And it's like, wow, this is like a Herculean effort to like put all this stuff here. Like, what if we use this for something good?
Sure. Right.
So something that
ripe avocados are good, but
yeah, they're hard. It's hard. It's a challenge.
Yes.
Right. There's a sign I remember that says not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Eat me now. Too late.
Too late. Right. That's about right. Yeah.
And so I was like, well, it would be cool to do this on tour and like try to like ask for some of these things on tour. And I was like trying to find a good list of like how do you make the music industry the most sustainable, right? And it's like you need to figure out what are some of the issues, right? Like so travel is a big one, right? Like getting people to travel to the venue is a big one. There's lots of waste. How do you eliminate waste, right? Most of the waste comes from food packaging, like plastic cups or plates or like plastic plates or even compostable plates. It's like anything that's like there's a lot of waste coming from that. So how do you address those things? And beer and all this other stuff. And we can kind of pull up the slides in a second, but
definitely.
Anyhow, I was like, I want to do something in the music industry where I know a lot of people in the music industry. I can be I can have personally. I think I could have the most impact here because I know the most amount of people.
Sure.
And I'm comfortable with how it works.
Yeah, the boundaries. So which comes first, reusable solutions or musicians for sustainability?
So reusable solutions first, right? I started that as I wanted to have something that like something people could hang on to, and so like that. There was this company called Deliver. It kind of I was in New York. I wanted to push for. I was looking at my trash in New York, and so like New York's just got so much trash.
Yep.
It's staggering, really. And I was doing the trash in my own place. It was like a 3-unit place, and we kind of took turns. There was no like formal agreement on like how the trash gets taken out, but it was only 3 units. And I just brought it to the curb the night before trash, and I just noticed there's like a ton of takeout containers in there.
Yep.
And I was like, well, like, wouldn't it be better like reuse these? And so I was like, how do I get that to happen? And so I worked for this company called Deliver Zero in New York, try to promote it. And I was like, I like promoting it. Like, I like getting the word out about these kind of things.
I'm going to bring up the website while you're
chatting. Oh yeah, sure. I like to get the word out about some of these issues, and so I worked for them, and then I was like, well, maybe it would be better for me to like do a like get the word about like multiple like places that are doing reusables in general. And so I put on these showcases, much like this, like much like we're doing here, is I would do these showcases where I'd have like 4 businesses that talk about what are they doing for reuse. And so it would be called like the Zero Waste Showcase. And so I started with that.
And zero waste education.
Yeah. And so I do education talks about that. And so that's more or less how that happened. And then I was like trying to come up with different ideas on how to make then I was like, well, let's try to see if we can make the music industry more sustainable. And so that's from that came Musicians for Sustainability.
Sure.
And maybe actually we could get that's this here. Yeah.
That's this. And then I'll pop to the site, but then you want to get to the slides.
Let's go to the slides.
Okay.
Let's go to the slides.
I'll hold this for now.
Okay.
And then I'll come back over here. So I believe this was the first one you wanted to share.
Let's see. Drum roll, please. Is it sharing right now?
It is, yeah.
Okay. I can't see it, but I assume it's the
it says
circle.
Decarbonize audience travel, 33% of carbon impact.
Oh, the first one has the graph. Let's start
okay. Then I'm going to go in the other order. There we go. Carbon footprint of a venue or festival.
Yeah, okay. So the way that this works, I have to do this from memory. I feel like a weather person. Like, I think they can't see it, and they have to kind of guess where it is.
Yep.
But I can do this.
Sure.
And so, okay, so some of the biggest impacts from carbon emissions perspective, 33% is audience travel, 33 or 34% is like electricity for the venue.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this is that like I see it now, is that if you looked at an EPA graph of like where carbon emissions come from in general, like in the United States, it's almost exactly the same. It's like 28% transportation and like 30% electricity generation.
Wow.
And so it's like it makes sense. It's like the same. So sometimes I read an article.
2/3 of it is food, electricity, and the travel to get there. So if you impact either or both of those, you're drastically reducing the overall footprint.
Those are the big ones. So it's like, all right, audience travel. Like, how do you tackle audience travel? Well, part of it, like band travel is part of it, but I was reading there's a company called Reverb that was on stage with me at Martin.
Absolutely.
And like they were working on like decarbonizing the band's travel, but it's like, well, that's not really where the emissions are coming from. Like, that's part of it. They have the most control over that part, but like, let's get to the stuff that's going to have the biggest impact. So if you go actually to the next slide for decarbonizing,
that's this one, venue production of food.
Let's do the other one, the band. Yeah. So decarbonizing audience travel. How do we address that? So it's like, if you can encourage bands, encourage fans, that's the big part of the audience, to carpool. So the more people that drive in a car, you can slash the emissions by half.
Yep.
You can get them to drive in an EV, you're eliminating it almost completely. If you know that the fuel or the energy from the car is coming from like someone's solar, then you've eliminated all the emissions. And so like everyone gets a free ride on the carbon emissions train.
Yep.
if you drive in an EV and there's like 4 people on it, you're literally taking cars off the road and doing that.
Right.
If you take public transit or you walk or you take a bike, any one of those things, that's a great way to address that. If you list where the charging stations are, that's helpful. I have an EV, and like test them. Testing them too is good, because it can be a disaster, right? But if you can have like a good tip on it, you're like, this one works, it's in good shape, like try this one out. That's a good one. And so so that's the audience travel. If we go to the next slide on the venue production stuff. So that a lot of that stuff is it's really just electricity. So like you're powering the amps, you're powering like whatever is cooking the food. Maybe they're using gas to cook the food. That's possible. But if they're using like, you know, the power, the stage and the lights and the sound, like if they have if it's a festival, you can rent a solar trailer, which we were trying to do in Bethlehem.
We'll definitely chat about that in a second.
You can either get the solar trailer, or if you have solar panels on the roof, or what's called community solar, which you don't even need to own it. You can just like, it's like someone has like, here, I'll try to do a demonstration. Here's this is dangerous. Okay, this is the venue. Okay. And this is the solar. And so it's not on site. It's like, this is 3 miles away. You can sign up to get your solar from here, and you can say, okay, let's call it Venue iPhone. Venue iPhone wants the solar from here. They can say, okay, well, I can't use all of it, but I'll take half of it, and then we'll call it Venue Pick. It's like they'll take the solar from this part of it, and so that's what community solar is. You're like renting a solar panel somewhere else, and like you're getting the energy from them.
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, it's different, but it's in that same ballpark of like, I've signed up for that energy co-op to be my provider at my home. Obviously, the power's the same. We're just trying to say, okay, this many people are wanting it from that provider.
Yeah, it's like you have.
But then if venues did it and so on, so like I always think about, like, I have a battery-powered lawnmower. So when I use my battery-powered lawnmower and I charge it from my home, which is powered by solar and wind, I'm mowing my lawn at like a neutral component
with the sun. Yeah, using the sun to run your lawnmower.
Right.
Pretty
and so
cool.
The more people who can do that, the better. And then the other thing is it'll bring the cost down because more people would do it. But I guess a venue could opt for that. And so, like, especially in the Philly area, that energy co-op is based in Philadelphia. So that would help too. The other thing that I thought was really interesting was, and this always was on my mind, when you walk up to a venue, you're inevitably like walking past the buses that the band is either on or drove up in, and they're running. And I'm like, they're just running for hours, idling.
Yeah.
And they brought it up at the venue that at the Sustainability Summit, where they're saying like the venue won't let them plug in to power the buses while it's just parked. And if they would just allow for that, then they could turn the engines off. And it's like, that should be another part of the rider or part of the negotiation of saying the venue should allow them to plug in so that they could be powered, because this is their home in essence for like the tour.
Yeah, for 6 hours, for 6 to 12
let
hours.
Let them plug in for 6 to 8
let
hours.
Let them plug in. Let them plug in.
And then especially if they're powering the venue with a provider that's renewable, then again, you're just
they're getting that. They're like the bus is getting that is being powered by solar too.
Exactly. So I think that's part of it too, is just that awareness of all these different elements of, I bet the venue doesn't even think about it. They're like, no, you're not plugging in. You're fine out there. But it's not fine that a car or van is going to just idle for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's brutal. So like, there's things like that where it's just, you got to think larger than just the moment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So let's go back to the Musicians for Sustainability website. Because I think this is where we can pivot to some of the things where this is the elements of what you look for in when you're kind of coaching or certifying a festival.
Totally.
So there are these truths that are there, and these are the people who have kind of signed on to pledge to say they're going to do their best to reduce these things. And these are the elements. So somewhat have these check boxes to metaphorically be there. And there's 6 categories. So I'm just going to rip them off here, and then we can go into them one at a time if you want. It's the renewable energy. So if you can power the festival through this renewable source, whether it's solar or wind or what have you, it tends to be solar when it's on a smaller scale, because you can do these solar trailers or what have you. Reusable cups and plates. So the ideal there is stuff that would be used and then washed so that it's not generating trash. We'll get into an alternative there that we opted for here, but it's not necessarily the ideal. This was a great illuminator for me. Having the beer and soda options and water being, kind of either keg only, so it's either taps or refillable stations where there's no cans or bottles, whether it's glass or plastic, you're still creating trash. So if you can make it, kind of keg only, tap only type stuff, because then if you combine that with a refillable cup, then you're basically eliminating trash.
No waste. Yeah.
Right.
So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
So then composting stations rather than trash. So stuff that can be composted, which is food waste, and those compostable elements of anything that's plastic free, I guess. So plates, cups, knives, forks, stuff that's made for that.
Yeah.
Can be used in that way. There's other things too. Low carbon travel we've kind of touched upon, and then providing people with the ability to have water to use with their refillable cups. So these are like the 6 categories that you're mostly kind of encouraging these festivals, these, whether it's one day or multiple days, the more you could head into these directions is going to make a huge impact to the overall footprint of that event.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anything you would want to dive into a little bit more specifically about any one of those? Yeah.
I mean, I like doing all of them. So
Do it.
Renewable energy. So the way that you can address this at a festival, it's like offsite, and you can. I think there's a good time for you to jump in. For some of you guys that don't know, so Phil or Philip.
Philip is usually what I go by.
Okay, Philip is putting on an awesome festival next Saturday, April 25th in Bethlehem at Arts Quest.
Arts Quest, yep.
At Arts Quest, all-day festival.
It starts at 2.
Okay, it starts at 2, and there's 3 bands playing. It's a free festival, and he contacted me about at the Martin. I went to this Martin. If you're just tuning in, I went on this Martin panel. They asked me if I wanted to speak about this Musicians for Sustainability, which is essentially it's a certification program for festivals and venues to become greener, and so. Kind of pushed by musicians. Some musicians are pushing for venues to get this certification or to do some of the things on this list. And so he's going through the process of getting his festival certified. And so, I mean, there's some challenges. And I want to tell you, Philip, is I like your attitude about it, is that you're like, okay, I might not get them all, but I'm going to try. This is helpful to have someone coach me through the process. And I'm going to do my best and just kind of learn from it. It's a learning experience, which I think is I think that is the attitude to have. And so renewable energy, you can satisfy that requirement by getting solar panels on the roof. That's a challenge. Well, tell me about that for you. What was that like for you?
So I think the biggest thing that I ran into was I'm doing it at an existing venue. So had it been, because there's kind of 2 kinds of festivals. There's more than 2, but I more mean there's generally the ones where you're getting into a non-venue area. So it might be a field, it could be a garden, it could be who knows what. But it's you're bringing in the stage, you're bringing in the power, you're bringing in the food vendors, and you can have a little more control over what those decisions are. It's still hard, but it's you can say this is table stakes. When the one that I'm doing is where the festival is happening at an existing venue. So they already have power, they already have trash, they already have food, they already have these things taken care of. So you're just kind of coming in and then tapping into the convenience of all those things. But if you're saying, hey, I want to do something different, it tends to be a little bit more of a hurdle to overcome, because they're well, no, the stage is already electrically wired for these outlets and these plugins and so on. So they're no, I can't even facilitate something else to power this stage or something else to provide the plates and cups to my customers. So I think those were the things I ran into, was the difficulty of that plus finding the actual provider. So there were you and I went just on the interwebs to try and find solar trailers, and we started finding them, but it was in Boston or Utah or Texas, and it was like there were options out there, but nothing local enough to be here for that day.
Yeah.
So there's also you might call it, I was going to say a problem. You could also flip it into say it's an opportunity. If somebody wants to actually be able to be that solar trailer in the world, there's lots of opportunities to be able to be that, and suddenly promote and then provide renewable energy to, it doesn't have to be music festivals. It could be anything that's a one-day kind of event that's looking to be, less impactful. Correct.
Yeah, we even called United Rentals, which is like, a pretty national brand. And they didn't have anything there, or maybe people weren't even asking them about it. It's
Sure.
like, it's kind of nuts that like people aren't thinking about it that much. I mean, I used to live in New York, so I used to think like, okay, New York's the center of the universe, fine, whatever. I live in rural Vermont now, which is like as far from that as it could possibly be. And Bethlehem's a pretty major city.
It's not small.
It's not nothing, and so it's like
right.
there's not an option there. And I don't know if even New York City has one. Like there's a company called Overdrive Energy Solutions that they do kind of bigger festivals. I don't know if they do smaller stuff. Like they did Billie Eilish's, they did Lollapalooza with Billie Eilish, and they did some other stuff, but they're like kind of large scale, like something that has like something from like 300 to like 3,000 person festivals. Like there's a market for it for sure, and there's no one else there. So that's renewable energy. Moving on, you get solar panels on the roof, or you can be part of a community solar co-op, like the energy co-op that you're part of. So anyone can sign up for that. It's what's called an off-taker. Reusable cups or plates. So there's a company that I've worked with before called Cup Zero. They use reusable cups. They provide them for the venue. So they go in, they bring in like, however many cups you need. And then they have these stations here, like you can see over there, you return the cups and they bring them back to their facility in New York, and they wash them and they reuse them. And so it's rental service for cups and plates. And so that's really where the trash is coming from at a venue. It's really the plates and the cups. That's it. That's like the major things.
So we look out here in that we have a 42-year festival called Music Fest that has its main iconic merch item is a reusable mug. The amount of trash that festival has preserved by using a reusable mug for 42 years in an event that nets over 1 million people over 10 days is mind-boggling.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot. Now, that wasn't the reason why they did it, but it's still an impact that they made, and I think they should take more credit for that. But we get to just kind of ride the coattails by saying to people who are coming to the event, bring your Music Fest mug.
Yeah.
And if you happen to be coming to the event and you don't have one, this year's mug's already on sale. So when you walk into the event, you can buy this year's mug now from the bar and then start using it and use it the whole rest of the day. We do have some, too, that are just kind of like on loan because of the Levitt stage has some reusable cups as well. So like we can also just lend some to some people. But just bring down your Music Fest mug, and then you're kind of contributing.
People can bring their own mugs to your festival.
Yes.
You're saying.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
and the
great.
vendor will use it to fill it. Yes.
That's great. Yeah. So that's a big part of the trash situation. It says no compostables on there for like the credit for that. That's kind of like the reason why, and I'll just kind of lay out my issues with compostables, is that that it's still single use, and so like all the energy it takes to make that,
Sure.
so, plastic or compostables, like you're just talking like upstream. Somebody's made this cup, right? So you make this cup. Let's pretend this is any other material, right? So it takes energy to like put. So for this particular cup, this is ceramic. I actually don't know that much about how ceramic is made, but the stuff that is entailed in making this, you have to heat it, right? And then you have to transport it, and then you have to find the raw materials to heat, and then you have to transport it to wherever it's going, and it goes to a warehouse, and it gets shipped to you. And so there's a lot of energy like at that part of the process to get to you. So it's come from wherever it's made. It comes to me. I use it. You use it one time.
Right.
and then you throw it in the compost. So that's okay from some level, because like it's going to be composted and turned into it's not going in the trash, right? But it's still single use. So the energy that it took to make this product is still is pretty intensive. If you take this and then you just wash it and you use it again, all that energy, like every time you use it, it's like the energy is less. You don't have to redo it every single time.
No, I totally get it, and I understand why I'm not getting like credit for that component.
I mean, this isn't as I know.
No. I guess what I'm saying is like I guess I'm feeling good about the fact that for that day, instead of the food coming out on styrofoam, it's coming out on compostable. Like it's a mini adjustment for 3 hours of that day.
Yeah.
And I think what my hope is that whether it's that vendor or a person who makes a purchase or something around that moment, someone says, oh, this is just as good. Because I think some people think, oh, if it's compostable, it's going to be flimsy or it's going to be crappy or I don't like paper straws or all this crap. Like, you're not entitled to these other things. You're supposed to make the smart decision. So anyway, what I'm hoping is people go, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. Maybe I should start buying the compostable plates for my my child's 13th birthday party or whatever. Like I'm hoping that it just makes an impact on one person that day. And if it's something like the vendor, then that's a bigger impact. If it's something like Jane, who has a birthday party the next weekend, then it's a smaller impact, but it's not, I'm hoping it's not nothing. But anyway, it's one of those things where it's like, if there's compostable plates, forks, knives, cups, napkins, and when we scroll down, if it's also whether it's
jump to that one. Actually, we'll come back to the kegs.
If it's compost instead of garbage cans, then like you said, at least it's not creating trash, and so at least I can feel good about that part, which also is thankful to you for kind of pointing out all of these elements. Sure.
Yeah, compost, like they kind of run in tandem. So compost having compostable plates, but if you don't have a compost receptacle, it's not as good because it's still being trash, right? It doesn't make it any better if it's going to landfill. Like having it break down in the landfill versus break down the compost. Break down the landfill isn't that helpful. So having compost is important for both foodware if you're using that, or also for food. Because what happens is, like, here's the deal. That when you have food, right, and it's going to a landfill, when it breaks down in a landfill, it releases methane, which is 28 times as strong as carbon dioxide. It's like a heat trapping gas. It doesn't last as long, but it's way stronger as the problem,
like a blanket.
It's exactly the blanket. The whole idea with global warming and climate change, like carbon dioxide isn't toxic, but heat radiates into the earth, and then usually it goes back out. But if there's too much carbon dioxide, it doesn't go back out, and so it kind of radiates back. If you have methane is like even a stronger blanket, but doesn't stay in the atmosphere as long. True. So if you have like a banana peel, I mean, it doesn't matter really for one thing, but it's like at scale. When you have an item that goes into the landfill, it uses anaerobic. It's like an anaerobic digestion. So there's like not enough oxygen in there, and so when it breaks down, it releases methane. When it goes into compost, it's aerobic digestion, and it doesn't release methane into the environment the way it does when it goes into a landfill. So anyway, it's a little science for you. Let's go back up. Let's see if I can kind of get through these. Hopefully I'm not losing anyone on here, but it's kind of interesting. So can carrier reuse or keg only. Keg only, if you were saying before, is that if you have beer in kegs, so if you have beer in a can and then you pour it into a glass or a cup, if you have a beer in a can, then you pour it into a plastic cup, that's the worst, because
two pieces of trash.
2 pieces of trash. Yeah. Even though cans are like the most recycled material, or one of them, it's like a 60% recycling rate. It's still, I think it's only interesting. It's only people, they like to tout it like, oh, it's infinitely recyclable aluminum, which is maybe true. And they're like, it's like a 60% reduction in carbon emissions, but that's from like not making aluminum. I think that's really just a testament to how carbon intensive making aluminum is in general. Like
Sure.
it's like you have this thing that's really bad,
Right.
and then but it's like half as bad when you recycle it. So it's like you know, it's not that much better, but it's a little bit better.
Right.
So it's a lot better than it was, but it's still bad, you know.
Right. 80 miles an hour is better than 160 miles an hour.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're still gonna kill like whoever you hit when you're driving it, but you're gonna kill them. Instead of turning into 1,000,000 pieces, they'll turn into like 700 pieces. So I don't mean to be morbid there. I don't know. This
No,
I've been talking about like murder ballads today, or thinking about that. So anyway, that's a topic.
I can't wait to hear what
another
song you're
time.
going to play later.
Oh well, there's a song that I wrote as a murder ballad, but I wasn't going to do that tonight.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah. So having kegs at festivals, or you can get kegged wine too. Like you can ask your distributor, "Can I get wine and keg cocktails?" So the music festival I did, Imagine Zero, everything was in kegs. So we had like almost like zero trash. And so let's finish these up. Maybe we can do that. I can show that video because it's like it's nice for people can see like, oh, what does that actually look like? All right, so let's go down. All right, low carbon travel. We were saying that before. That's a really big part of the puzzle. If you can incentivize people to carpool or drive an EV or take public transportation, walk or bike. Last one, water refill stations, pretty self-explanatory. Instead of having water bottles, you let people bring their own water bottles and fill up over there.
Sure.
Okay.
And if I could just quickly go through ours.
Yeah, sure.
We were not able to get the renewable energy even after an admirable effort on all our parts.
But I just want to plug real quick. If anyone has a like a Lightning,
that's true,
or a Rivian, or has some kind of electric car with an outlet on it.
Yeah, I have the video here of you doing it.
Let's put that up because
all right, so here's you proving that you can power a guitar amp with a plug-in vehicle.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm Ben Kogan, one of the co-organizers of Imagine Zero. I'm here at Nigel Hollis's and Jill's house in Woodstock, Vermont. He has this beautiful solar array behind me, and I came here today to test my guitar. I'm going to plug it into his car right over there. The beautiful Iconic 5. Iconic 5. And he's bringing his car to the festival, and he's going to use the power from his car for one of the food trucks. And I thought it would be good form to test out the outlet before we do. So here we go. Here's the amp. I'm going to plug it in to Nigel's car, the Hyundai Iconic 5, which we were hoping to get a sponsorship by the time this thing airs.
Go.
All right, moment of truth. Here we go. It's on. It works. All right, so I'm going to mention one more thing here, is that this car here is powered by the solar panels you saw earlier.
So very, very fun to see that in effort. And to your point, if we get somebody to pull that car up and we can power somebody's amp off of that thing, we can kind of get some credit here. I still want to try and get the whole stage powered by it, but I think that's a future year. And I think each year, like the amount that we learned, the amount of contacts we made, like you said, who knows if United Rentals or, you know, we had that other like organization. We ran into some very cool people who were wanting to try and be helpful. It was just a combination of location, date, cost, all this stuff combined. It just wasn't going to necessarily work out for this year, but we're going to chase it. We're going to keep chasing it.
Yeah.
But very cool that you powered your amp off of.
Yeah, I was able to do my amp. So it can be done. And so from this list of things, like I moved to Vermont in 21, and I met someone that was like, oh, let's put on a festival that has all these things. And I was like, all right, like maybe. And then we talked a little bit more about it, and then we're like, okay, like let's do it. And so So yeah, if you want to roll that other clip,
Yeah.
this is Imagine Zero. It's Imagine Zero, an aspiring zero waste and zero carbon emissions music festival. This is probably the best proof of concept to see all these things in action.
Awesome.
Pack your bags, time to leave this town.
So for those of you listening on the podcast, you just heard some really cool rock, blues, pop music, but it went through all the different aspects of those things we've been talking about for the Imagine Zero Festival and how, again, proof of concept that it was doable. And then a killer lineup too. Kat Wright, I'm a huge fan of her.
Oh, you are? Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually would love to have her on the show. I've never connected with her.
Oh yeah, I'll send an email.
I would love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, her music is fantastic.
Yeah, she's great.
But yeah, so your festival was a success. How many years has it happened? You know, what's the latest plan for it?
2 years. It happened twice. I don't know if it's not happening this year. It might be done. We almost, I don't know, like we're allowed or not allowed to say. I guess I'm my own boss, but we would try to have. I'm friends with Lake Street Dive, the drummer. He's a friend of mine from back in the day, and he lives actually in my town. And we were talking about having them play this last year, but it didn't work out. And then this year we didn't try. And so the status is unknown right now. We don't have any plans to bring it back.
You could just basically partner with ours and just turn the No Planet B Jamboree into the Imagine Zero Festival.
Yes.
And just kind of partner up efforts because
that's kind of what this is. It's kind of like this is like what's cool about the certification is that we can certify anyone that try to make it make it like that. You know,
yeah. Anyone who can imagine zero.
Yeah, you can imagine it.
But no, I mean, I think too, like it is hard to do. Like these events and these moments are like, it's a lot of effort and energy and heartache and thankless effort. Like it's a lot of stuff that I can certainly understand how the burnout happens, especially when you're aiming so high. When you're trying to simply convert some people and you might make 2 or 3 steps forward in progress and 5 backwards. And it's just like, it breaks your heart.
Yeah. I mean, it was from the sustainability perspective, it was certainly a success. I mean, it's like putting on a festival is hard in general.
Sure.
But to add like this other layer of kind of being hard on yourself on adding sustainability into there is like, okay, I think it's better for us to do the sustainability aspect and let someone else take care of putting on the festival,
Sure.
The bands and the venue and all that stuff. So
that's the part I prefer to do. So
maybe we can. It's a good partnership. Yeah.
Let's have a conversation later.
Yeah.
But no. And so where do you think this goes to from here? Like the combination of Musicians for Sustainability, Reusable Solutions, the Ben Kogan band. Like, where do you kind of see things happening? In the short.
Well, I'd like to scale this up to other venues. Like, I want more venues to get certified, right? Like, I think the more venues that do it, it's going to be. Hopefully, will snowball, right? Like, I think we were talking about this before. Like, you guys are pretty close with ArtsQuest. Like, for ArtsQuest to see that, you're getting a certification. Like, maybe we should get a certification and push and the snowball. And so I would like to play at some of these events where the sustainability is happening, as well as certifying it as a sustainable venue.
And yeah, I mean, I write some songs about it, which maybe I'll close with that if there's time to do a live one.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's kind of where I see it. It's kind of more people doing it and snowballing and getting momentum for it to be more like that.
And that's for the music industry. Is there any ways that reusable solutions can impact other than the music industry? Like, are there some stuff happening there that you have as like a hope and dream?
Yeah, I mean, our big thing with Reusable Solutions is this can carrier program for these the beer toppers. Is that hang on, just talk for 1 second. I'll get one.
Yeah. So I know exactly what he's talking about. You buy these 4-packs from breweries, and it's this plastic top, and I'm sure it creates a lot of trash, but it can be so reusable because you just pop your 4 beers off the top of it, and then all of a sudden, you can just simply hand it right back, and they can give you another 4. So maybe if they give you some kind of a credit or something like that. But here is the topper. I basically, there you go.
Topper, yeah. And so like, what's so cool about these things is they're like completely reusable, right?
Right.
So like, so they just took them off, right, and then you plop them back on.
There's no reason to throw it away.
Yeah, there's no reason to throw them away. I mean,
you won't believe the stack I have over there that started in COVID because I couldn't bring it back to anybody. It must be. I'll send you a picture of it. It must be 2 feet tall.
Nice. I
haven't thrown them any away, but I also
have
haven't
10,000 of these. Like I collect them with Reusable Solutions, and I mean, I'm totally drowning in them. There's probably like,
I will not mail them to you.
Do not. I mean, I like you, so you can mail them to me. I will take them. I'll get them reused.
What I love about what you're doing is you're kind of teaching us to fish. Teach me where to bring it to, which obviously is breweries and stuff like that. But like, I think that's the thing is like, don't just hand it off to somebody else. Like, if you're inclined, go and
it's a whole program. Yeah, if you can find breweries to reuse them, that's good. This program we have is like, we kind of collect them at scale from stores all across Vermont, and we sort them into colors that the breweries want. We sell them to breweries, not for a lot. It's a discount what they usually put. It's not a business really anyone should get into. But,
which is why it's better as a nonprofit.
Yeah, and so but we get sponsorships, and the stores pay to be like part of the program.
Sure.
Still kind of dialing it in, but yeah, they're totally reusable, and everyone uses them. So the hard part is done, like trying to get people to use this material that's reusable. Sure. It's already reusable, so it's like So anyways. So yeah, that's like the main thing we're working on, and so that and actually for sustainability.
This is also a lesson in engineering, I would think. That thing is made to be reused, so obviously don't throw it away. But how many things that we could engineer or design in a different way that would encourage reusability is part of the other aspect of just thinking differently as we build certain things. Like
designing for reuse is like designing and implementing is like those are important.
Well, I'll give a little bit of plug for next week, and hopefully you tune in. Other people I met at the Martin Guitar Sustainability Summit was the 2 guys from Symmetry Wood. Did you meet them?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to be on to talk about how they can build these wood products out of the waste from kombucha facilities. And then Sustain Music and Nature, which is the organization, actually it's in Connecticut, where musicians can go on a retreat and write music, but also it's kind of to get in touch with, the earth and nature and stuff, to use that as inspiration for songwriting and all that kind of stuff. So some great guests next week, along with hearing music from the 3 people on the lineup, as well as the running kind who's running the 5K. So next week's episode is the No Planet B Jamboree kind of pre-live stream preview show. So we always move it up a day so we can have more promotional effort. So Tuesday night next week is the live stream for the No Planet pre-jam.
Cool.
So hopefully
when and where's No Planet B Jamboree?
It is. I love that you're helping me with that. Saturday, the 25th of April, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, at the Arts Quest campus. Free, rain or shine, because if it is raining or even just chilly, we'll move it inside and we can be nice and protected. Ben, I'm going to have you just play us right out. So tell us about this song. You said you wrote some songs about this journey, this effort, this inspiration that you've been on. So give us some backstory. I'm going to give you center stage, and then when you're done, we're just going to head right to the close.
Cool. Yeah, this is a song about a guy that wants to do something for the planet, and he's not sure if it's going to help, but he's like, you know what? I'm gonna F and try. So this song's called Modern Man, and in parentheses, he tried. He read every book he could get his hands on, went to the streets and held a sign. He called up his local politicians, and they defend the 99. He donates monthly to some causes. It's not much, it's all he can afford. Heads to the polls for elections, but he has his doubts that it'll change the world. Oh, he tried, yeah, he tried, did everything he could do. Oh, he tried, yeah, he tried, and he hopes that you might too. He took his money out to make of evil, put it where it might do some good. He's writing in his silent petitions, making sure his voice is understood. He outsourced his ethics to the co-op. One choice has chosen all the rest. Votes with his dollars and his conscience. Will it change the world? Is anybody's guess? Oh, he tried, yeah, he tried, did everything he could do. Oh, he tried, yeah, he tried, and he hopes that you might too. There are people that are out there saying climate change, it ain't real. That fills him with rage and conviction. So he joined the Green New Deal. He hosted a concert in Barnard. Organizing is the name of the game. Freedom, no, it don't mean nothing when the world has all gone up in flames. Oh, he tried, yeah, he tried, did everything he could do. Oh, he tried, yeah, he tried, and he hopes that you might too. Oh, at the end of his journey, take stock of what occurred before. Tell you of the good and the bad, even if he's the only one that's keeping score. He could throw in the towel, quit fighting to what they're falsifying, turn a blind eye to the truth. But he says, hell, I would rather die trying. Oh, he tried, yeah, he tried, did everything he could do. Oh, he tried, yeah, he tried, oh, and he hopes that you might, hopes that you might, hopes that you might too. Thank you guys. Good night.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. We'd like to sincerely thank Ben Kogan for telling us all about his personal music journey, performing tonight live, sharing some of his back catalog, and then obviously also for starting the organizations and sharing the inspirations around Reusable Solutions and musicians for sustainability. Just very inspiring, and in ways that maybe he doesn't even realize, because like I was sharing, it had me wanting to be better. It had me wanting the festival that we do, No Planet B Jamboree, to be better. And so being able to talk with him and learn more about ways that we can do it, and having it give us kind of a roadmap for that, and then also being a part of, the effort to go and find them, was just a really great experience over the last couple of weeks to us working together on that. So hopefully you'll come down for the event. As always, our hope here is to bring you your next favorite band. If you tuned in tonight because you already knew Ben Kogan, thank you very much. We hope you liked what you heard and what you saw, so that you might give us a like, a subscribe, and a follow, so that we can bring you your next favorite band in a coming week. Or your next favorite band might already be out there. NextFaveBand.com and our YouTube channel at NextFaveBand has all our prior interviews. So you can possibly find it. You can always reach out to us. We can help curate that, or you can just go try 2 or 3. That's always something we encourage, is go just kind of start trying some episodes. Hope to see you at a live show soon. Hope to see you at the No Planet B Jamboree, Saturday, April 25th in Bethlehem. It's a free event.